Coming on now, we have Adrian, who thinks MAGA isn't fascist and thinks that fascist movements have to be about government power to control and prosecute and oppress the opposition, and doesn't think Trump is doing that. Let's see how Adrian defends that. Adrian, can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, hello. What's up, Jovan? I'm Adrian Tyler. I'm 30 years old. I'm he, him, male, masculine.
Okay.
I think, for one, I wanted to ask you, I was viewing your live stream a minute ago, but I'm currently in the phone call here. So when you went and got the Cheetos there, are you like a classic Cheetos guy? You hot Cheetos, jalapeno cheddar? What's your snack there?
I do puffs.
Cheetos puffs. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm more of like a hot Cheetos guy myself. I'm typically on the hot Cheetos grind set there. But all right, man. Cheetos enjoyer.
Right.
From one Cheeto enjoyer to another, I would say that, I think that, like I told your screener there, I think the fascist terminology it's more of a political dog whistle. I don't think Trump really fits the mold of fascist. I don't think he would be like a Hitler or a Stalin type. I think he's more of really your milquetoast conservative. I think he's when you get down to it, I think he's more of like a business Democrat running under the GOP to get elected.
I vehemently disagree.
I mean,
so just to
go ahead.
Just to explain, when I call Trump and MAGA, the MAGA movement as fascist, I label it based on the 14 characteristics of fascism that Umberto Eco came up with. I would say the Trump administration meets almost all of these 14 tenets, and I believe they haven't reached a peak, but I wouldn't say you're not a fascist just because you haven't reached the peak yet. I believe he is trying to do state control of opposition. This would be him trying to label anybody that disagrees with him essentially terrorists. He labels any major opposition as Antifa, as the radical left. He's labeled the Democrats as radical left, and he labels radical left and Antifa members as terrorists so that he can set up a framework in which he can go after them legally. I believe we're already seeing this played out. They arrested somebody who was supposedly the girlfriend of the founder of Antifa, but we know that Antifa isn't like a centralized organization, so that's just kind of dumb. We've seen the way that they've used this to screw with opposition in the country. So, especially opposition that disagrees with their political stances. We've seen how they use this to take Mahmoud Khalil, who committed zero crimes and had zero disciplinary actions taken to him at Columbia. They use this to strip him of his visa and try to deport him from the country, put him in prison away from his wife and daughter for months, and then try to kick him out of the country. They are clearly and concertedly trying to see how much they can push when it comes to control, and every inch they're given, they decide to take another mile.
All right. Well, I mean, you brought up Umberto Eco's qualifiers for fascism. I would say that, just colloquially speaking, a lot of those qualifiers really fit the more populist model that I think Trump ran on. Especially when you run in a more conservative position. So things like, rejection of modernism. Even you could go as far as like the idea of like, quote unquote, the obsession with conspiracy, right? This is more like in line with his right-wing populist voter base. So collective identity, national unity, stuff like these, like even like a strong nationalist ethic, right? I don't think those are inherently fascistic. I think that you would have to do a little bit of work to delineate that from just his, like I said, his more milquetoast conservative base. And I think that when you look at a lot of his supporters in the right wing, quote unquote, a lot of those people are just like normal conservative people, and they're dissatisfied. But a lot of those people aren't like interested in things like political persecution or on the extreme level, like death camps or anything like that. I don't see it as like, and I keep going back to those examples because that's what we see in history, right? When we see examples of real fascism in history, we
Yes,
see like
you're pointing
actual.
to like the end, like fascism at its like later stages. I'm pointing to the beginning of fascism, right? One of the first things Hitler did was not throwing Jewish people in a camp; it was labeling people as enemy of the states, right? And if we want to get into camps, Donald Trump has done this. I mean, look at CCOT. CCOT is rife with human rights violations, with literal torture, all of these things happening at a prison where, quite literally, enemies of the state are being thrown and housed. And the vice president of El Salvador literally said the only reason we're keeping people in CCOT like we are is because the Trump administration is paying us to do this.
Okay, well, wouldn't that also apply to someone like Joe Biden when he talked about MAGA fan base, like the MAGA supporters and fan base being like, evil and enemies of the state as well?
Sure. When did Joe?
You got to be a little at least
First of all,
consistent there.
hold
right?
on. I love a whataboutism. It's one of my favorite things to do. We can definitely handle the whataboutism here. When it comes to Joe Biden, Joe Biden never publicly labeled any MAGA group as terrorists. The only group that was labeled as terrorists was the Proud Boys, and I would agree with this sentiment because the Proud Boys were engaging in acts of violence against people in the state. Joe Biden, you want to call Joe Biden a fascist? I probably wouldn't fucking disagree with you. I'd say most American politicians are. But the difference is Joe Biden wasn't jailing his opposition in the way that Trump is in any way, shape, or form. Joe Biden wasn't weaponizing Justice Department to go after his political enemies like Donald Trump has been. Donald Trump literally accidentally sent a text that he was trying to send to Kristi Noem. I think it was Kristi Noem. Accidentally sent a text he was trying to send to her as a Truth Social post in which he was trying to tell her, "Hey, go after these people. I don't know what they've done, but look for something. Go look for something against a political opponent is weaponizing the Department of Justice." Joe Biden didn't do shit like this.
I mean,
I dislike Joe Biden for a lot of fucking reasons. He's a war criminal. He's a genocidal fucking maniac. He is a piece of shit. He didn't do He didn't do that.
well, I mean, I guess we would find some common ground in that there would be, both sides of the political aisle would fall under this under this term that, as you've defined it, right? I think, but I would argue that wouldn't be the case when we look at some of the, not all of them, obviously, but a couple of the people that were arrested during January 6th. I think that some of those were politically motivated arrests.
Name me one person that was arrested in January 6th that we did not have evidence about them actually doing the thing on January 6th that they did. Name me one person.
Well, I mean, obviously, like they were there and they entered the building. Like I can't give you.
Then why wouldn't we arrest them if they committed a crime? If they were at the Capitol and they illegally entered the Capitol building, then they got arrested. Now we can have a conversation about whether or not some people were either held pre-trial too long or things like that. I'm totally fine having that conversation. But to say their arrests were wrong is just like flat out untrue.
Well, I think that would be part of it inherently, and then on top of it, you have, like you said, this would be like where the distinctions would come about, where, if these people were let out as a part of a change in the regime, there's something to say there. But I think that a big part of the conversation would be that, these people were led into the Capitol. They were funneled into the Capitol by the police. They weren't, not all of them were explicitly held at the door.
Talking about 8 minutes of footage from a fucking 4 hour. We have like 4 hours of footage. And
they're being waved in. I mean, 8 minutes of being waved in and told, hey, go in here.
After people had already broken in. The police said, we're going to have to minimize violence here. We're going to have to minimize some of this damage. So we're going to let some of these people in instead of, letting them destroy everything. This is grossly a mischaracterization of what happened at this. What happened?
Well, if you look at how Trump has employed the same resources, it looks like he's fine with using government force, whether it's ICE or National Guard or whatever, with to detain people and to keep people out of certain places. So I don't think any
Donald
group
Trump
will
is
be wrong.
okay using the National Guard for anything except stopping people that were chanting to hang Mike Pence. Then he just couldn't be bothered to use the National Guard. Then just couldn't be bothered.
I mean, when it comes to like chants like that, I mean, ultimately, I would disagree with that. Obviously, yeah, I think that's wrong. I think active calls for violence aren't protected in the First Amendment.
January 6th
But
was
I mean,
the entirety of January 6th was an active call to violence.
I mean, I would disagree.
What do you call a group of people marching onto the Capitol building during an official proceeding, chanting that they want to hang the guy who's running said official proceeding, if not a giant act of violence? What do you call the beating of Capitol Police, if not a giant act of violence? What do you call
The beating of
storming? I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
No, what did you say?
I was parroting what you said. So the beating of Capitol Police.
Yeah, what would you call that if not an act of violence?
I mean, definitely political dissidence. I think I would take a page from the left's playbook on that.
You wouldn't call that violence.
I would be sure there's an element of violence there.
What's the element of violence?
I mean, the actual fighting with police, obviously. Can't condone that. I don't think any right-minded person would condone that.
Okay, the fighting with police was the violence was chanting Mike Pence while walking through the streets. Was that violence?
I mean, I've already conceded to the threats of death. I don't think that anybody should be. I don't think that's protected under the First Amendment. I don't think that's you can condone that.
Okay, was breaking into the Capitol, was that an act of violence?
I mean, again, like I said, I think that a lot of that was it was a messy political situation that got out of hand. I think that a lot of the leeway for calling it that was kind of thrown out the door whenever the police made the quote unquote tactical decision to minimize violence by openly allowing people in, funneling them in, waving them in, saying enter in through here. I mean, you can call it what you want on that end, but I think that you kind of lose a little bit of credibility. It's like, at the end of the day, like, if you're going to say it's political violence on one hand, but then you've got videos of uniformed officers waving people in and saying, come through this way, it kind of loses some of its purchase when you say that, oh, this was like an insurrection. This was an attack on the Capitol.
Do you think,
if someone was,
do you think a president, a sitting,
well, just real fast, if there were insurrectionists attacking my home, and like I started waving them into the front door, I said, "Come here. This is where my valuables are." You know, like I think I'd be better off just like standing my ground and like fighting them off, whether I win or lose.
Police officers were being literally like beaten to a pulp, tased, maced, beaten with their own gear. It's a really ridiculous take. But my question for you is, do you think a sitting president, who decides to fight a fraudulent battle in claiming that the election was stolen, present no clear evidence of it being stolen, have his own personal lawyers admitting that they have no clear evidence of it being stolen, or are just saying this as a way to get him elected, and that nobody should believe them on these claims, to have a person who is the political strategist of this person say well before the president did it that this is the strategy we're going to employ and the strategy we're going to do, then have that president spend months talking about how much it was stolen, how bad everything is, how your country is being taken, then hold a rally where he wants all of these people to show up for this rally on the day the election is to be certified, only to have himself, along with multiple co-conspirators, try to push through fraudulent electors so that swing states went to him instead of the people it actually went to. And then when his vice president does not do this and does not push through the fraudulent electors, send a mob of people marching onto the Capitol shouting, "Hang Mike Pence," which he knows about and is informed of it happening, sits in a room for 3 hours watching it on the news until finally he says, "You guys should go home now." When he realizes that there's no way that he's going to get what he wants now. You wouldn't say that this entire plot is a plot bred from fascism?
No, I wouldn't say it's bred from fascism. I would say it's an outworking of the exact same sort of lawfare that was employed during his first term. And I'd say that if it actually had no teeth, and if it actually wasn't, if it was more or less what it was, rather than some big political circus for the masses, I don't think that he would be the current sitting president. I don't think that his current time in office would have been such a nothing burger compared to what it's been made out to be by his political opponents.
You think that his current term in office is a nothing burger?
During his first term, Hillary Clinton talked about the Russian interference with the election to get him into office.
There was a literal bipartisan committee put together by Republicans and Democrats that quite literally found Russian interference in the election. So, like, Hillary Clinton going, hey, I think there might have been some Russian collusion in the. Now, she conceded literally the day after the election, said, I lost, right? I lost, comma. I think there might have been some Russian collusion here. Donald Trump, it's 2025, still attests that he won the 2020 election. You're like comparing shit that is now that there is no fucking that is not analogous. Like, and it's
well, what does that ultimately amount to when the agent of the foreign state, Russia, gets into office not once but twice? Nothing comes about of it. He's not held to account by the same bipartisan political factions, right? What does that actually amount to other than like a political circus?
What are you talking about? The only reason
if it was found that there was actual Russian interference that led to the election of Donald Trump in 2020, there is foreign interference in our national elections. You would think that would amount to something. You would think that there would be some sort of like recourse legally for that, right?
Some recourse legally. I mean, we changed some rules when it came to running campaigns and elections. Not many, but it didn't lead to like nothing.
But then he won again on the back of the 2024.
He won in 2016, right? Biden came in. Yeah. He weaponized his base throughout the 4 years of the Biden campaign so that he'd have a better shot. Mm-hmm. And then Democrats put up a candidate that I don't think was their best option. And he was able to use this to get himself elected a second time. He also didn't has like nothing but
people.
What?
It's the fault of the people, the voting base. Like those new rules preventing. He relied on Russian interference the first time around, and then just so happened to propagandize.
He didn't need the Russian interference the second time because he had Elon Musk. It's literally been proven that Elon Musk used Twitter to get Trump elected by shifting in millions of bot accounts to shift millions of fake stories about the Democrats. Like, he literally had a campaign backer who bought the largest social media platform at the time so he could use it for free advertising to get elected. Not only that, he also had the
just advertising and slogan.
No, it's not just advertising. Running bots on your account, faking profiles so you can push fake news stories because you removed all semblance of verification on your platform except for community notes, and you removed all semblance of this, is not just fucking advertising, dude. This is the most intellectually dishonest shit I've heard all day. Like, I mean, dude, and that's not even touching on. This isn't even touching on really quickly. There absolutely were, and this isn't even pushing on the fact that he's had people like Peter Thiel, Curtis Yarvin, who've been backing JD Vance with millions upon millions of dollars, who've been working to delegitimize American news and media. Like, there's a reason why he pushed for the TikTok ban so hard his first term. Right? And he wanted people to lose trust in ByteDance. And now that they did, he could convince them to sell to an American company, which they have. It's going to be owned primarily by Oracle. Oracle is literally a pro-Israel company who literally told their people, if you don't support Israel, get the fuck out of our company. Oracle now owns the TikTok algorithm and 45% of it. Fucking CBS is owned by fucking Larry Ellison's son, putting in charge people who like are like, there is nothing you can see here except this mass amount of control, all done in the support of people who've literally said they want to see our democracy go away. Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin do not want democracy. Like, they want, no, not ultimately.
I mean,
they want it gone.
I mean, I just wanted to say that, like, when you talk about the Israel lobby, that's a bipartisan lobby. Like, both the establishment Democrats and Republicans support that. It's only the non-establishment, like,
holy shit, my dude,
the leftists on the ground, like here, you, that would be anti-Israel.
But like, is all whataboutism.
The Democratic establishment is pro. It's not just whataboutism. It's
no, it is. It is. That, like, you can't go. You literally haven't been able to go. I've already said I don't fucking like the Democrats. I didn't like Joe Biden. Fucking throw his ass in jail for war crimes. Throw Obama in jail for war crimes. You can't fucking say, oh, Trump's also doing this and this is a bad thing. It constantly goes back to, but look at what the Democrats also did. But look at this. But look at that. I don't fucking like when the Democrats do it either. I've been very consistent on that.
Well, ultimately, I just came here to argue that Trump is not a fascist. I think that
I think you've done a bad job.
Part of that, I mean, part of that that line of argumentation would be the cult of personality dictatorship. And yes, you can argue that he is like a celebrity president, that like, people are Trumpers, they are MAGA Trumpers for sure. But in 2 years' time, 4 years' time, when there are a new set of candidates on the table, Trump is going to be gone.
Steve Bannon literally said in an interview last week, Trump is absolutely going to be president again in 2028. He said they have their strategy all ready to go. I think they are going to push very hard, and I think his people are not going to say this is wrong. And if they put out a plan that on paper reads legally above board, and a plan that is going to put Trump in fucking office in 2028, all of his supporters are going to be fucking on board with that. They can't wait for that shit.
How do you overturn the constitutional term limits for a president?
We won't know, but they said they have the fucking plan already. Steve Bannon has literally said,
legal and above board. If it's legal, I mean, we've had presidents in the past. Yes, it was just one, but they've had more than 2 terms. So
yes, and that's why we implemented that amendment. That's why we implemented the 22nd Amendment. Like what? We implemented the 22nd Amendment because we had these things happening.
And if they legally overturn that amendment through the proper channels, then what's the argument there? It's part of the proper system. It's part of the democratic system.
Ain't no way. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Do you think okay, whether or not they do it legally or not, right? Your whole argument was the cult of personality. And once it's in 2 years, Trump's going to go away and it's not going to be an issue. Unless he doesn't go away in 2 years.
The president isn't a dictator. Even if he's elected for 4 terms, the president isn't a dictator.
If you think fascists need to... This is my issue. Why does every single person who comes up to talk about fascism have to make it that, well, it can't be fascism until it finally hits this... Hitler didn't start out as a fucking dictator. He was someone who was running for fucking office. No, I'm sorry. I'm not done here. I'm not done talking here. No, I'm sorry. I'm not done talking here.
Sorry about that. No, go
ahead. They are setting out a plan that has been in the works for years. Project 2025 is 48% complete within a year of Trump taking office. 48% of it has been accomplished policy-wise. They have said numerous times, Peter Thiel, Curtis Yarvin, Stephen Miller, all of these people, Steve Bannon, have said numerous times they are going to make it so that the Republican side never loses office. Now, whether you want to say Trump himself is not the fascist, this movement and this ongoing party, this is why I say MAGA is a fascist movement, because that's the moniker that I've given to these people, is a fascist movement bent on ending democracy and ending the democratic process, because, to quote them, they think the country should be run like a corporation with one person as CEO in charge with unilateral power. And they've been working in slowly eroding the systems of checks and balances so they can do this.
Well, again, like and I know that you've already said a couple times here that you don't care about the Democrats. I just find that hard to believe that, given the talking points that you've brought up, given that the type of opposition that you've presented against
Please address
Trump.
the things I said.
Or you could be like a liberal centrist. Is that your actual position? You're a non-democratic liberal centrist?
God damn, I'm not a liberal at all. Can you please address the shit I said?
I mean, what's with the? You talk about like the pronoun stuff. You talk about like the anti-Trump stuff. I'm just wondering, like, what's your position if you're not pro Democrat and you're not part of this bipartisan system, then where do you fall in this?
Where do I fall in what?
The left-right paradigm. Where do you fall in the left-right paradigm?
I'm staunchly to the left. I'm as far left as you can get.
You're a liberal. You're non-liberal leftist.
I'm fully a leftist. Yes, I do not support the system of capitalism.
Well, I got that with the communist statement earlier in the call. But so you're a non-liberal left. What does that look like?
Somebody who does not support capitalism.
Sure.
The difference between liberals and leftists are liberals support capitalism and leftists do not. What does this have to do with any of the stuff I said to you? This has nothing to do with any of the points I addressed. Well, instead of addressing the list of things I said to you, we're now talking about what my political ideology is.
Well, we're getting there. Why do we need to get there?
Why can't we just start with the rebuttal?
I'm just wondering where on this line that you fall, considering, when I bring up arguments about the other side, you have no problem, like, out of hand, just tossing them under the bus, saying, I don't support the Democrats, I don't support Joe Biden, I don't support Hillary, whatever, fuck them. So I'm just trying to pin down where you actually fall in this paradigm in terms of the discussion, because ultimately,
I think the Democrats are capitalists at the end of the day. I wouldn't label the Democrats fascist. I would label them capitalist imperialists. And I think that the Democrats, although I think imperialism is fucking terrible and capitalism is terrible, they have never made a concerted effort like the Republicans to erode the democratic process and erode a system of checks and balances that we have in our country. They've not ever tried to do this.
I mean, you don't think so? Like, this would we get into arguments about like mass immigration, the support of mass immigration, which we all know that most of those people vote overwhelmingly Democrat.
It doesn't matter if those people vote Democrat. That's still a Democrat. Wait, I'm sorry. That's a democratic process. Having people come in and voting is a democratic process. If you're here legally, you can vote. The amount since what is it? I think it's since 2018. There have only been 100 counts of somebody voting illegal. Somebody who was an illegal citizen voting in an election in our country, in local or state or federal, when they weren't allowed to. There's only been like 100 something instances of this. So what the fuck?
I'm not even talking about illegals voting.
Okay, then what is it? If they're here legally, then they're voting. That's a part of the democratic process. So I don't know what the fuck that has to do with the erosion of the democratic process. God damn.
Well, I mean, I do believe that that's kind of like sort of like anti the MAGA base, which would be anti this side of the argument.
Holy shit, Eli, we won't even talk about how most people who are here.
I do think the MAGA base is overwhelmingly against. I do think the MAGA base is overwhelmingly in favor of limiting even legal immigration into the country for political reasons, like the disproportionate effect it has on, the voting base.
No, it's because they're fascists and they don't want them. They want a white nationalist country. That's what the real reason is. Just call it it is.
Again, like you use the terms like white nationalist country, and I just don't see that. I don't see that fitting with like the average Trump voter that I've interacted with.
I know you don't.
And maybe that's anecdotal, but I just don't see like white nationalists being the descriptor being used for these people.
Yeah, I know you don't. I know.
So what do we do with these anecdotal evidence?
If it's anecdotal, I would throw it out because it's anecdotal. It's anecdotal. What do you want me to say to anecdotal evidence?
Well, like I said, I think that the better take away from it is just that they're just normal conservative people. They're not racist. They don't like hate in terms of like a supremacist ideology of like white centrism, right? Like,
fully disagree.
You got black MAGA voters. Are they white nationalists? Are black MAGA voters white nationalists? Are Hispanic
Yes.
MAGA voters white nationalists?
Yes.
Bro, that's silly. That's silly, Tom.
Nope. Non-white people can be white nationalists. They can support white supremacy. Yeah. I don't know if you know this.
I think that that's like all well and good on paper. I don't think that in real life there's Uncle Ruckus going around promoting white supremacy.
I think there's plenty of that going around, actually.
Do you have any anecdotal evidences of that?
No, I don't use anecdotal evidence to make.
Do you have any hard evidence of Uncle Ruckus voting for Trump to bring about the fourth vote?
Yeah, I'd say any black person who votes in a person who espouses racist talking points is in themselves supporting of those racist talking points, which would be in and of themselves supporting of white supremacy.
What about single issue voters?
I would just say single issue voters are fucking dumb, and they're apolitical idiots.
They still qualify as like fascist white supremacists.
But yeah, wait. I'll use a direct hard example. Fucking somebody in the chat said it. Clarence Thomas is a direct hard example of a black white nationalist.
Dave Chappelle.
What?
Dave Chappelle, the Black Klansman.
Clarence Thomas is a Supreme Court justice.
Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court justice, is a black white supremacist. I mean, it seems a bit silly to me. I'm not buying it. Maybe I could be convinced on that. You know,
I don't think I need to convince somebody who thought he was the fucking Dave Chappelle dude. I'm gonna move on now. It's been 30 minutes. Fucking Christ, bro. No fucking shot, dude. Hey, thank you all for watching this video. If you don't know me, I'm Jovan Bradley. I'm a leftist content creator who does debates, political commentary, gaming, and more. If this is your first video, thanks for sticking to the end, and I hope you subscribe. I post videos daily, and there are hundreds of past debates on my page for you to enjoy. Thank you to all my YouTube members. Your continued support helps me create as much as I can. Consider joining. A membership starts at $2.99 and gets you access to our community Discord, early access to videos, and more. Shout out to my Tier 4 members, Red Fairy DF, Ellie McReady, Not 3.6R, Sylvia Snow, Paul D, Zurith Moonpaw, Kazim, Never Again, Bamji, Emery Imogene, Ayla Ursus, Call Me Vel, Kelsey K, Jake Gorshander, Matthew Holloway, Vampy, Yemye, Mealy, and Dragon Nerd. Your continued support goes a long way in helping me continue the fight for equity, justice, and education. Thank you again for watching.